The joys of YouTube. Hello, I'm Matt. This is take 2. I just made myself sit in front of the camera for the last maybe 20 minutes and I just got into the flow and started explaining some things. And then I was like, right, better check the camera and see if it's how much battery's left, and I hadn't pressed record. So this is me looking slightly more comfortable than I was 20 minutes ago, because I've just been talking to the front of this lens for 20 minutes assuming it was working. The downside is I now need to do it all again, which is it's good practice, let's put it that way. So hi, by the way, I'm Matt Osborne. My parents call me Matthew normally when I'm in trouble, and then on the internet I branded myself or called myself Mr. Leica.com back in 2013, perhaps, something like this. Why Mr. Leica.com? Why make yourself sound potentially a bit of a dick? It seemed obvious at the time. I was using all Leica cameras and I was like full on Leica everything. So I was using Leica cameras, Leica lenses. I stopped using my Nikon equipment and I was just full on film Leicas, digital Leicas. And I started to collect the different Leica lenses. My first Leica was the M9 after I was teaching a student photography in the studio, and they brought their Leica with them. And at the time I was using a D800 and I was totally fed up with it. The images just weren't interesting me, so I was having to apply loads of layers and just anything I could to make it more interesting for me. And then he let me try his M9 and I'm like, I took a few photos and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then he left and I got on eBay, and before he'd got home I'd already bought my first Leica on eBay, which I say was a black M9. And that's how it how the slippery slope started. To start off with, I was using as cheap as possible lenses for the Leica, so Zeiss lenses, Voigtlander lenses, vintage Leica lenses from eBay. You can actually get some bargains if you have a good look around. And then over time I bought slightly more modern lenses for the Leica. I think the most extravagant purchase I've ever made is the Noctilux, which is a 50mm f1. It was obviously second hand and I managed to get a good price, and hopefully it will hold its value. But yeah, I have quite an obsessive personality, so I'll just be on it, and I'll just keep going until I can get what I need to try and make the photos I'd like to create. Probably should step back a bit. So MrLeica.com was all about Leicas initially, and then as time went on I started to use medium format film cameras, and so I started to document those. It's like, oh, I just bought my first Kiev 88 Russian 6x6. It's basically a copy of a Hasselblad. And then I'd be like, oh, and then I bought a Nikon. The joys of YouTube DIY starting next door. This is my first video, but I'll keep going for a second and see how long it lasts. So yeah, I'm quite inquisitive, so once I'd used a lot of Leica lenses, DIY, man. Once I'd used a lot of Leica lenses and once you've got a camera, unless it's a digital Leica film camera is the same as any other Leica film camera in terms of you get the same picture. So once I've tested and used a lot of those, I still wanted to be experimenting with more cameras. So I bought, I think, probably the Mamiya RZ67, and then I used that for a bit, and then maybe a Mamiya 645, Contact 645, Hasselblads, and I'll basically, the way the process I seem to work is I'll buy a camera, I might buy something just fell on the floor. I might buy, say, I'll save up some money and I'll get a Hasselblad, and it'll come with a 80mm lens. And they'd be like, I'll be taking pictures and be like, it's nice, but it'd be really cool to have a lens which is a bit wider. So then I'll search online, what is the best wide lens for a Hasselblad? Lots of reading, which version, which model, which coating, ding, 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 everything. Find from popular consent what is the best one, buy that. And then once you've got your wide lens, it's like, oh, it would be cool to have a long lens. What is the best long lens for a Hasselblad? And then you can have modern looking long lenses, you can have vintage looking long lenses, you can have super long lenses. And so you end up, if you're like me, if you're always experimental, you buy a few lenses. And then you shoot 6x6 for maybe the summer, and then like 6x6 is nice, but it seems a bit of a waste of film. If I shoot 645, then I get more photos per roll, 15 or 16 photos rather than 12 6x6. So like, what is the best 645 camera for portraits, for example, blah blah blah, on the internet. And then you come up with the options: Contact 645, Mamiya 645, Fuji GA645, 645 back for a Hasselblad. And so after the reading, you buy a different camera. So then I'll buy, say, a Mamiya 645, and then it's like, what is the best? I'm thinking in my head, it's like, I don't know, what is the sharpest lens for the Mamiya 645? What Mamiya 645 lens gives the best bokeh or blurry background? What is the fastest lens for Mamiya 645? Just to create for portraits, to create the best pictures for me. So do all this research, find the lens I want, buy it, and then you buy that for a bit, and then you use that for a little while, and then it's like, the Mamiya is nice, but it'd be cool to have something a bit more compact, but still 645. So then you look online again, what is a compact? What is the best compact 645 medium format film camera? And then your answer is probably Fuji GA645, which is like a point and shoot autofocus. Buy that, use that for a bit, and then you're like, it's a bit too automated. I quite like really the manual feel, I like manual everything. So then you might think, I've seen a lot of reviews online that the Mamiya 7 is the best camera in the world. That was like my Top Gear impression. Jeremy Clarkson, in the world. So everyone just seemed to say the Mamiya 7 was the best, but they were so much more expensive than the Mamiya 6, which I already had. So I put it off, and then I'm like, right, this seems to be the best camera in the world, so let's see what it can do. Buy Mamiya 7. And as a portrait photographer, it's not probably the first choice of camera for portraits. It's a rangefinder, and rangefinders have so many limitations for portraits and for various things. So I start taking some pictures, expecting like amazing pictures, and then get them back, and I'm like, all right, where did I get them back? I develop them in the kitchen. I get them back, and I look at them, and I wasn't overly impressed. I think the problem is most people that are probably using these cameras on YouTube and wherever, they'll have a 35mm, I don't know, little contacts or something, and then they're like, right, their mate's got a Mamiya 7, let's get a Mamiya 7. And so if I'm going from like a 35mm negative to like a big 6x7 negative, of course the resolution is going to like blow your mind. You can see like crazy amount of pixel detail. But for me, because I'd already used 6x7 cameras, I'd already used good cameras like Hasselblad's, Fuji GF670, Mamiya RZ67 Pro 2. There's a lot of good cameras out there which can take the same film format as a Mamiya 7, but with the lenses available and the usability of the other cameras, they can be so much better in terms of pictures for portraits for me. Obviously if you want to walk up a mountain and you want a small camera setup and it has to be 6x7, then get Mamiya 7. Well, probably get a Fuji GF670 because it folds. But if you need a wide lens, then get a Mamiya 7. Or if you just want a lot of resolution, just shoot 4x5. You can get a 4x5 camera for less than the price of a Mamiya 7 lens, and then you can pick up 4x5 lenses third of the price of a Mamiya 7 lens. Something like the Intrepid 4x5 camera, wooden 4x5, and then pick up some lenses on YouTube on eBay, and you can have a cheap 4x5 setup which will give you way better resolution than a Mamiya 7. Sorry for bashing the Mamiya 7. I'm just trying to explain my reasoning as to, because I use a lot of cameras, I'm kind of spoilt in terms of there are other good cameras in the world other than a Mamiya 7, which is obvious, but I just pointed it out if you weren't sure. So I apologise if you're now asleep or like headbutting the desk or gunning your ear, or I can appreciate it. I enjoy photography and I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy talking about it. So blogging for me is a way to brain dump. Instead of going bleh in front of a camera, I just go bleh onto the, no pen and paper, onto the keyboard. So my blogging is basically just me brain dumping what I've learned, what I've seen, example images, and hopefully sharing some of what I've learnt over the last 10 years so other people can find it easier than I found it. Because sometimes it can be really difficult when you're using a vintage camera. It's not like how to use a Nikon D8, I don't know what they're up to now, D850. Sorry, cars outside. It's easy to find information on modern cameras, but it's not so easy to find information on vintage cameras and vintage lenses, because it wasn't popular to document it on the internet in those days. So yeah, hopefully the blog will bring together in an easy, understandable format, the main things you need to know about each camera that I use, with example pictures and different lenses. Sorry for the traffic. And sometimes camera A versus camera B. More for me, because I'm always like, ooh, wonder how the Hasselblad will compare to the RZ, or wonder how the Nikon 35mm will compare to a Leica 35mm. My head's just always spinning. So yeah, that's what the blog is about. Me documenting about any brand of film camera, and Leica digital cameras and Leica film cameras, and obviously any lenses that fit any film camera that I use, and lenses that fit the Leica cameras that I use. Most of the images on the blog will be portraits. 99% of them are probably females. I do shoot men as well, but It tends to be normally women or girls or females. So yeah, I'm trying to update the blog because it's stupid dogs. Because I've been blogging for a long time. Originally it's like a diary for me. I did this, I did this. I think this is good, I think this is good. So what I'm trying to do now is, for new posts, I'm trying to switch it so you would like this because of reason ABC. You might prefer this versus this because of fact 1, 2, 3. So I'm trying to flip it from me, like a diary, to something a bit more value add. So the new posts are hopefully better written. Well, they will be better written for me versus my old posts. But the old post, if you stumble across an old post and think that is complete crap, feel free to tell me, and I'm trying to read the old posts, but it's difficult to know what people are interested in. So I guess to wrap up this very waffly, probably extremely boring, potentially awkward to watch video, I'd say try not to give me too much abuse in the comments. And equally, if you want me to try to do a video, can't promise I will, on anything in particular, or if you want me to blog about a certain camera or a certain lens or a certain technique, how to photograph women, how to photograph men, how to use speed lights, how to use filters, how to develop film, how to develop colour film, how to develop black and white film. There's a lot of blogs already on there if you search, but if you find it's not there or it's not what you're looking for, and you know that I might have these answers, feel free to leave a comment and I'll try to start writing what people want to hear. And if watching this video wasn't too eye-wateringly bad and you want me to do another video, then if you give me a specific topic and write it in the comment, and I'll try and be a bit more on point about one particular thing rather than just going bleh about 10 years worth of me and cameras, which was probably no interest to anybody. But I did it in my first YouTube video and I didn't die, and well, not physically, I might die online later. But yeah, it's kind of nice to have ticked off the YouTube obstacle that I've avoided since everyone went on YouTube. 5 years, is it? So yeah, this is Matt Osborne, MrLeica.com. You find me on Flickr, Instagram, obviously the blog, pretty much everywhere. Yeah, it would be great to hear from you. Tell me if the video's crap, tell me anything you want, and I'll try not to cry, and I'll try to make it better in future. I might even turn on the lights, which I've got and didn't turn on. I thought if I start at the worst possible video possible, at the least I can have somewhere to improve. So if I'd already turned on the lights, then I probably would have set the bar too high. So yeah, waffling over. I need a drink and a lie down to recover. Have a good day and happy shooting, and maybe see you on the blog soon. Bye. Just to talk about show you some of the cameras I talked about. Here's a few that I brought from upstairs. So you've got Mamiya 7, Mamiya 645, there's a Hasselblad 500 cm, Mamiya RZ Pro 2, GA645, another Hasselblad, that's a 501C, a digital Leica M240, newer digital Leica CL with an adapter and then a Voigtlander lens. older Nikon, I think it's an FE2, older Leica M3 with an older lens, a bigger Nikon, a Nikon F5, and using some of the film, empty film canvases that is. So yeah, there's a few cameras.